The recapitalization of the REIT industry through the use of equity has been a hot topic during REIT Week 2009, NAREIT's Investor Forum. Mike Graziano, Managing Director of Goldman Sachs, moderated a session during REIT Week on the REIT approach to real estate investment. Goldman Sachs has been involved in a number of the equity offerings we've seen in 2009. Mike, can you tell us the impact these deals are going to have on REITs and paying down the debt that they've been carrying?
Well, I think they're going to be extraordinarily important. Again, something that we talked about a little bit on the panel was just the import of the associated with the public markets in terms of the re-equitization of the overall real estate space, that there are simply just not enough dollars out there, particularly now, to sort of infuse the amount of equity that's going to need to be infused here to get folks back to the appropriate sort of balance sheet structure. And the public markets are clearly going to play a huge part in that, and as you've seen, have played the major role in that situation so far.
These deals have been large. They've been very favorably responded to in the market. Why do you think investors have taken to these equity offerings?
Well, I think we're in a position now where we've finally got some good news and some good movement. Where I think the Armageddon scenario is behind us, where folks were basically treating the public real estate marketplace as if every company was going to sequentially go into bankruptcy one after the other. And so I think management team's willingness to step up and re-equitize their balance sheet, as painful as that is, as well as the nature of some of the companies that came out of the box, to get that started. I think people just have a different view now in terms of the survivability of a lot of these companies, and they're just, I think, excited. I think the stocks had also been beaten down to such a level of low valuation that once you take the sort of extreme downside scenario out, you see the stocks now are trading back, maybe not to pure fundamental valuation, but a lot closer to it on the heels of the re-equitization that's begun.
As we mentioned, there's been tremendous enthusiasm for these offerings. There's been in excess of $14 billion raised in 2009 already. But can it continue? In other words, how deep is the market for these offerings?
Well, I think it's pretty deep. I think it's, so far you've seen the amount that's gotten done and the amount of time that in which it's gotten done. I think it's surprised a lot of folks. But I don't think that people should assume that this is a blanket re-equitization, come one, come all, as much money as any company needs. I think the market has been and will continue to be selective in terms of the companies that they're willing to re-equitize, and they're going to want to understand the story and why the dollars are really going to make a difference. And in some respects, some of the companies that's again started this, in retrospect, while the deals were not necessarily easy out of the box to get this whole thing going, in retrospect, those were the easier companies. And every company has its own story, and I think the equity markets are smart, and they're going to look at every company individually and be somewhat selective in terms of who they're willing to provide that that equity for.
Mike, obviously the re-equitization of the industry is going to continue to be a hot topic. Outside of that, what are some other issues that investors should look at for the rest of 2009?
Well, I think unfortunately people look at what's occurred over the last several weeks, and if you track it on a chart, however you want to look at a stock price or some of the other metrics, it's pretty much a V. Yet I don't think there are many people in the world today who feel like we're in a V-shaped recovery. So I think the thing to watch on a go-forward basis will be does the market give something back here, and was just as a very opportunistic time to go ahead and re-equitize and get things done, and we're going to sort of move downward a little bit, or is this going to sort of trickle along for a while and then maybe start to move up again? But the real question is that V. I'm not sure everyone sold is going to continue to be a perfect V, and so we'll see where things go for here. But I think the general consensus, this is going to be a long climb back up, and the question is, will it be steady? My gut tells me probably not. There'll be some twists and turns.
Thanks, Mike. For REIT.com, I'm Matt Bichard.